Mayor Levar Stoney of Richmond, Virginia, and Mayor Tovar of Tolleson, Arizona. Thank you both for joining us. We're going to get right into it here with our Mayor's Roundtable. Mayor Stoney, we're going to start with you. Obviously, we're in the midst of the COVID-19 crisis, as well as crises involving racial justice and others. When we look at housing and affordability, accessibility for renters, did these crises just exacerbate issues that already existed, or did they bring entirely new issues to the forefront? I'd love to bring you in there from your vantage point leading the Commonwealth of Virginia's capital city.
Yes, and thank you, Jordan, for having this for us and being able to have these candid conversations about housing. And you know what? I mean, with the pandemic striking here in early March, what I've seen is all the pandemic did was exacerbate some of those inequities we already saw in our system, particularly for Black and Brown people. When I look at housing, there's a number of renters right now who are facing some serious hardships because of a lack of income, a loss of income, and the rent being due. We got the beginning of the month coming up here pretty soon. And once again, I think a lot of our residents who had maybe a plan B don't have a plan C, a plan D, a plan E. And all that it's done is exacerbate the housing crisis that we were already facing here in the city of Richmond. What we've requested is our landlords to practice compassion, as well as those who rent to also understand the struggles of some of our landlords too. In addition to that, we've worked on rental assistance using the CARES Act dollars that we received from the federal government. We're going to allot $6.1 million in CARES Act dollars to rental assistance and an eviction diversion program. Prior to COVID-19, we were already at the second highest rate of evictions in the United States of America. Roughly, I believe, 14% of those who the population in our city were being evicted. And so we got a couple thousand now who could be potentially evicted in the next couple of weeks, and we want to avoid that. So we're standing up a number of programs that help support those who need it the most. And I'm just, I'm worried. I'm very, very concerned that those who were on the brink could potentially fall through the cracks.
Thank you, Mayor Stoney. Mayor Tovar, I want to bring you in here. You're a mayor. You lead a city out west in the United States. Mayor Stoney's, leading on the east. Obviously, the crises that you're confronting as a leader in your city are quite similar, undoubtedly. I want to bring you in here on, the mission critical support, but also as we think ahead to the future. What is your message to the people of Tolleson and really, people in general, renters and property owners, as we weather this storm?
Thank you, Jordan. It's an honor to be on. Yes. I mean, as Mayor Stoney had mentioned, we have the similar aspects here in Arizona, and we're right now, I would say, in a spike of COVID cases. So this brings another layer of, I would say, proactiveness that we need to address relatively quickly. I would agree in regards to housing, and here in our city, we're doing everything we can in regards to financial assistance with our renters, and definitely wanting to be able to offer that financial assistance so that people can stay in their houses. One thing that we've been hit hard with, I would say, in the past 3 weeks has been an increase of those that are homeless. And so we are addressing that issue as well, too. So we're trying to tackle both issues at once and trying to prevent people from becoming homeless. It's a big, serious issue here in the West.
Mayor Stoney, you talked a bit before about sort of the plight of renters in your city, but also the plight of property owners, landlords. Obviously, both of whom are constituents of yours. Is it a communications issue about, renters understanding, kind of where their rent dollars go and property owners understanding the need for compassion? Talk a little bit about how we balance this. Obviously, as a mayor, your job is to get things done, not necessarily, kind of look into one group versus the other here.
Yeah, and I think I stated in my last comments as well that, we need to practice compassion in a very linear way, right? Where we are expecting our landlords to pay their taxes, and this is a city. Richmond is based on our largest pool of dollars in terms of revenue or real estate taxes, and then we're asking landlords to, landlords are expecting to pay rent as well, and then or get rent paid, and then those who rent don't have the dollars to pay the rent. And so we've issued, enacted different amnesty programs for our landlords in terms of payment of the real estate tax. But also, you heard about my programs in terms of rental assistance and eviction diversion as well. But the one conversation I had, though, with a group of community bankers, bank presidents, and large banks as well, located right here in my region, it was, you have to be able to have that conversation, right? That, hey, I lost my job, or I'm going to lose my job, or I've had to pay something else because of the pandemic, and I don't have the rent today. Because what's going to happen is that the landlords have to talk to their banks, and the renter has to talk to their landlord. And so we've asked that compassion be practiced throughout the system, so we can have these conversations that no one's falling through the cracks. That's what we want to prevent.
Mayor Tovar, Mayor Stoney talks about kind of the future here, and I think there's obviously, a need to be, optimistic and solutions oriented. You come from a unique background. You were a public educator during your career. When we think about millennials and we think about the future and concern and anxiety, what does the future look like for millennials, kind of from a financial, security, strength, empowerment perspective, particularly as it relates to housing? Love to get your take there as a mayor, but also someone with a background of an educator.
Yeah, great question, Jordan. I would say before COVID, we were just tailoring our housing needs, whether it was home ownership or rental, in regards to millennials, in regards to building popular, retail, and where their housing is located on the same mixed use, because that was the needs that we were seeing from our millennials, where they wanted to have a place to own or a place to rent that had immediate access to retail and different amenities, not in your traditional type of building houses with 4 to 5 bedrooms. So we were doing a mix of that in our community, and we still see the need for it as well too. We're pushing forward on another development that is coming up, but I agree with Mayor Stoney that communication definitely is key, and listening to our constituency and knowing what their needs and wants are, and at the same time working together to bring forward solutions, whether that's programming, whether that's innovated things that have yet to be introduced. But it is definitely right now a time where listening, learning, and leading with what we're hearing from our constituency is key, because we definitely want them to remain as homeowners. And if they're renters, we definitely want them to remain as renters and hopefully work towards a home ownership if that is something they're looking into. But again, we have to be in lockstep with them in regards to any planning for the future for our needs as well too.
Mayor Stoney, you're someone who's been known as a job creator. You have a great reputation about that in Richmond. Obviously, millennials play a role in that. They serve as, employees, the next generation of talent. What do you say to millennials when you talk to young people, when you hear from young people who are concerned, they want to be in apartments as renters, as eventual owners? Talk a little bit about your message to millennials.
Millennials are, we're a serious competition for them all across this country. Cities in the Northeast, in the South, and in the Northwest, we're all competing for talented millennials. And I asked them to come to the city because I believe you want to have you want to have affordable housing here, affordable cost of living. And my fear is, as housing prices have unfortunately gone up, and those incomes have unfortunately lagged behind, that we have created this crunch on millennials. Those cities who can get ahead of this crisis, create more affordable living, invest in quality of life amenities, will actually be the winners, I think, in terms of getting millennials not to just rent property, but also one day own properties right there. And there's a number of other factors, right? Outside of just affordability to live, but also whether or not you're investing in good schools and in transportation. A lot of millennials don't want to use cars anymore. They want to be able to have access to good public transit. And you're seeing a lot of second tier cities, medium-sized tier cities who are now investing in robust public transportation. We here in the city of Richmond launched our bus rapid transit a couple years back in 2017. It has been a success. While a lot of transit systems have been going the opposite direction in terms of ridership, we've seen our ridership increase because we have a line that goes right through the areas of our city where millennials have begun to rent housing, and allows them to get from where they live to where they work.
A topic that is very important to millennials, and I know Mayor Tovar, a topic that's near and dear to your heart, is the notion of sustainability. We hear a lot about climate change. Oftentimes, lip service is paid to it. But when we think about the multifamily real estate and housing environment in your city, in your state, and across the country, what are some things that you may be thinking about or hearing about in your conversations with other mayors and colleagues about, whether it be incentives or, really making sure that, multifamily housing is attentive to sustainability concerns moving forward?
Yes, we're addressing that issue currently, and we've had conversations with mayors across Arizona, just in regards to creative incentive programming that they're doing as well too. I mean, our city has made the commitment with sustainable buildings within our own infrastructure, I would say, for the past 15 years. And one thing I'm hearing from other mayors, just in regards to incentives and just in sustainability period with dealing with climate change, is the financial burdens that were pressed upon on each of our cities and how we're dealing with COVID. But I'm definitely a firm believer that we need to, make sure that we're still investing and still moving forward in sustainability programming, whether it's building our new infrastructure or just a commitment to green space as well too within our communities. Right now, it is a total key in regards to, what amenities that people are looking for when they're moving into different cities. And so right now, I think is a crucial time to continue that commitment, and also just continue communicating those incentives to try and draw in, whether it's millennials or our multifamily approach, to come into cities that offer these great amenities.
Thank you so much. Rhino Housing Innovation Council, Mayor Levar Stoney, Richmond, Virginia, Mayor Anna Tovar, Tolleson, Arizona. Thank you both so much for being with us, and we are better off with folks like you guys leading our cities forward. Be well, both of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jordan.